This case takes place in the United States of America in the year 2024. This dreadful unfolding was set in the small village of Tiaras in the eastern edges of Albuquerque. This incident involved a young man accused of ending the lives of his immediate family members. The shocking crime sent ripples through the quiet and rural community, and the interrogation footage is astonishing. And like no other meted mastery, Adel was born in the year 2000, making him 24 by Sunday the 13th of October 2024. By all accounts, it seems like he grew up with a loving family. His father Rundo was a devoted father and husband who worked tirelessly to provide for his family. And his mother Bera was a devoted member of her church and a passionate advocate. For those who had very little in life, she dedicated countless hours to feeding the homeless and the vulnerable people. At food halls, it wasn't alone. Growing up, he was brought up alongside his two siblings. He had an older sister named Nancy and a little sister called Brio. Little is known about his older sister Nancy. Besides her academic excellence and drive, she had graduated from university and was working in the intensive care unit of the hospital. Young Brile was a spirited young girl with a sharp sense of humor. She was very optimistic for a girl who had physical challenges. She was a patient at the KY Tingley Hospital for over a decade. This hospital treats people with long-term physical and mental disabilities. Despite her challenges, she was a fighter. By the year 2024, she was 17, and she was taking college courses as she was inspired by her big sister Nancy. She was known to be kind, compassionate, and protective of her peace and happiness. The family was happy, but unfortunately it wasn't perfect. One member of the family was deeply troubled. Little to no information has reached the public space with regard to Adel. Besides his horrific actions at their family home, there is no mention of his upbringing, his employment history, or his possible previous criminal activity. But what is known is that he received treatment at a mental health hospital in Albuquerque, a place for people struggling with mental health issues and substance addiction. It was reported that he was experiencing auditory hallucinations, voices in his head. It is also known that he would frequently use THC, the psychoactive substance in cannabis, although he did not exhibit any signs of homicidal thoughts, and the doctors believed that he was not a risk to himself. So following several evaluations, he was deemed to be little risk to the public, and so he was released. He was, however, prescribed some antipsychotic medication to help him with his mental state. However, despite his ailments and his older sister's advice, he stopped taking his medication in early 2024. Because of this, his delusions and hallucinations increased, and he grew deeply paranoid. His sister Nanny continued to persuade him to return to his medication, but he didn't. His delusions manifested into some strange actions, like apparently setting up thermal cameras around his house. He also previously shot a gun at a nearby cell tower. He didn't have access to his own personal gun, but he knew his parents had a pistol, which isn't uncommon for families living in rural New Mexico. There is some debate about whether or not they should have hidden or locked away the guns due to their son's state of mind. But despite knowing about his condition, they could never have guessed what he was about to do next. Around midday on Sunday the 13th of October 2024, Ad had an intense psychotic break. In his words, his father, mother, and little sister tried to walk into his room to steal his heart. According to Ed, his father, Runda, was banging on his door, and that when he finally got inside his room, he rushed Adel with a knife. He then said his mother told him, "Ad, you need to die," whilst his little sister was holding a camera. We can almost say with certainty that this was just all a delusion, and Adler was in a schizophrenic-like state. Nevertheless, he felt like he needed to defend himself, so he commenced his counterattack. This became pure slaughter. He picked up his parents' 9mm Glock 19 and a knife and decided that he needed to kill. Piecing together what we do know. Contrary to his previous story, Adler made his way into the living room of the family house and attacked his father first. This must have felt completely out of the blue for Rundo. He stabbed his father and shot him multiple times. The shooting proved to be fatal, and he died at the scene. He then turned towards the front of the property and the staircase. His mother was shocked to hear gunshots in her house. She was running down the staircase when Adel found her. He aimed the Glock up at the staircase and fired several times with the shooting, proving fatal once more. His little sister Brielle was apparently in her room at the time, aware of the gunshots and likely frightened for her life. Adler decided to shoot through the wall at his little sister, hitting her with at least one fatal shot. Meanwhile, a neighbor heard the gunshots and decided to go around to the house and check on the family. He decided to drive up to the house, stay in his car, and beep his horn several times. He assumed that if everything was okay, someone would come outside to check on the beeping. But nobody came outside of the property. After a few minutes passed, the neighbor knew that something was horribly wrong, so at 2:14 p.m., he made a call to the police requesting that someone come around and check up on the family sheriff's office. "Hello, sheriff's office. How you doing, sir? My family rushed me. Rushed you where? In my room? What do you mean with a knife? Come I here, real quick then." "Yes, sir. What are you talking about? Did you have weapon right now yet, Don't you just going to tell me what's going on?" "Okay. So my family was trying to walk into my room and then they're trying to hit my heart, and then my dad had knife and my sister had hammer and then I killed them. But however, I found their bodies and their wounds were healed. You want me to show you? We need additional units." COD was crazy. I don't know. Like I shot him in the head, and then we are 104 and we have one detained 10. For there's possibly 3 individuals deceased in the house. I don't think know what happened. You have blood on your hand. What's up with that? My dad rushed me. I hit him, and then my mom was like, "We need to die." I've been officer, I don't know what's going on, okay? Hey, do you think we should secure this in? No, I can show you where the bodies are. No. Just hold on. Just hold on. Hey, hold on. We have to in a car, okay? They're over there, like, are they in the house? No. Looks scary, they biting their arms. I don't know, they trying to hurt my heart. I'm going to secure this in my sheriff's office. Anyone inside, come on out with your hands up, open and empty. Anybody inside, make your county sheriff's office, Leo. County sheriff's office, stepping out, a county sheriff's office. Anybody inside? Nothing, these are drag marks, TR, stay out of them. 3 toes 1, pos. Look like Adler was taken into custody, and there he was questioned on the same day. Detective Cameron Carroll sat with Ad in the interrogation room to better understand the situation. From his point of view, before they started, Adley was looking at his watch and appeared to be setting a timer before asking whether or not he would be able to go home soon. He was then given his Miranda rights, and was asked if he understood these rights too, to which he replied, asking if the detective understood them too. "This is part of that interrogation, co-man. I'm gonna have take you handcuffs, go stand up. Get you handcuff loss if you stand up. B, what happened today, okay? But before we go here, I just want to make sure I have your information correct. How do you say your name? At David M. Adele. Okay, and how do you spell it? A, and then David, and then how you spell your last name? M. I just want to make sure you understand your rights. Okay, have you ever had your Miranda right told to you before? No, sir. You have the right to remain silent. That means you don't have to talk to me. Okay? Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You know what that means? You know what that means? Yes, sir. What does that mean to you? What anything we talk about today can be used in court. Do you know what that means? A person? Okay, you have the right to have an attorney with you before and during any and all questioning. So what that means is you can have an attorney before we talk. Do you understand? You understand? I do understand but I want to make sure you understand that You have same understanding. You understand, okay? You can have an attorney before we talk. Okay? And at any time before questioning, you can talk to an attorney, you understand? Yes, Lord. So let's talk. I want to talk real quick about your family. Who lives at the house with you? Your mom. What's your mom's name? Let me just make sure I have that information, Mom, and then who else, sister? Who's your sister? Free, okay, and then your death. Who's your death? Very much, David. Okay. So, I know you want to talk about all these waves and stuff, and I want to hear about those, okay? But I need to know. Do you have any firearms? What kind of firearms? 19, a Glock 19. Is that at 9mm? Okay. Did you have that today with you? Yeah, and was that the gun that you had on you when you saw the D for the first time? Okay, tell me what happened inside. The house with your mom and dad and sister. I had to. And when you say you had to, what did you have to do? Okay. You to kill him. Okay. Where did you shoot him in the head? Did you shoot him in the chest? What about your mom? Why did you shoot? My mom, my dad, and then they got this possessed. Sure, yeah, I'll give it to you, so your sister. Okay, so you said your mom was walking down the stairs, your dad was shot in the living room. Where did you take them after you shot them, bird them? So there's like a trail. Okay. And then I opened the gate. Take a ride down the trail, and why did you put in the ravine? How about, okay. I gotta go talk to my partner. Try to figure out what all happened, and we got to figure this out. Okay, if you need anything, just knock on the door or just say hello. And I'll come back and, help you, whatever you need. Okay. All right, sounds good. Thank you, we'll talk to you soon. For a moment the detectives left the room. His shouting continued and ended with him banging his hand on the wall. When the wall appeared to be hollow to him, he tapped on it once more to double-check. He then had a realization he could break through the wall and escape after a drill. But Jesus, that's not me, I know Adri no freer. How about y'all go ahead? Pull some strings. Make it officer to share. Let's make it happen. Spend the night in jail. Hey yo. What, Audrey? What if I just spend the night in here? Y'all release me, right? You spend the night in there, I spend the night in here, oh my God. Music Adler didn't get very far, and he was once again apprehended by the police. He was charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder, 4 counts of tampering with evidence, extreme cruelty to animals, escape from custody, and criminal property damage to the police station of $1,000. He had a hearing less than a week after the killing, where his attorney stated that he was in need of immediate psychiatric help, and that prison was not the appropriate setting for him. Adler himself spoke up in the courtroom, interrupting the proceedings by saying, "I have a lot to say. May the media please get pictures of the corpses because their wounds were healed and blackened. May you please release the photographs to the media, because I am fighting for my life. The case has not yet gone to trial, and due to the nature of this case it may take some time. Some believe that Adlai is completely genuine and that he truly is mentally ill. However, some believe that he is faking his mental illness as a way to get away from the murder charges. So far, there is no sign of premeditation, but there is evidence suggesting that he truly is mentally unstable. As of right now, he remains in custody and is awaiting further legal proceedings and possibly a trial. The deaths of Rondo Berra and Brielle have had a massive impact on the local community. The family would frequently volunteer to help the community, and they were incredibly loved, as I mentioned earlier. Bray was a patient of the K. Tinley Hospital, and in her honor they have created a memorial foundation. The Bree Memorial Scholarship Fund will be awarded to a child in the foundation who portrays BR's qualities in inclusion. Leadership and kindness. A link to donate is in the description. The more money they raise, the more they can help with all of this. Said, there is no doubt that the greatest impact of this tragic story was to Nancy, the oldest sister at the time of this happening. She didn't live at home anymore. Her family was murdered, and her brother was arrested, likely facing life in prison for the rest of his life or confined in a psychiatric institution. It's hard to even imagine what she was going through. But not only this, Nancy had only recently started her job at the hospital, and because she had only been employed for a few weeks, she was not entitled to PID compassionate leave to mourn her family or to take care of the aftermath. And because of this, some people have set up a fund for her also, so she can take time away from work to come to terms with her loss again. A link will be pinned in the comments. Music.